Good day everyone. Una welcome back to Ada Universe TV. I greet everybody well when they come across this video. When you go see help me share this video. My people, the matter when I carry come out today now from our Bodo Nigeria. Now information about our Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I beg my people, I want to make una listen to this our brother when he visit Nnamdi Kanu yesterday for our Bodo Nigeria for Abuja. The things when see where they do to Nnamdi Kanu, this our brother go narrate for una go hear everything, my people. But before you go listen to this news, if not the first time we dey come across my video be this, or you dey watch my video before you never subscribe, just follow me, hit that button when you say subscribe. And if you don't already press that button when you say subscribe, I say thank you. Now my people, they say information is power. If this video reach your hand, I beg, not fail, they share this video for your contact or your contact for WhatsApp. They share and una know why the secret of Nigeria they leak where the whole world they see who Nigeria be. Now social media they leak our leaders. All the bad thing when our leaders they do to their citizens. Now social media now make people come they see and say, so Nigeria not be giant of Africa. Because before they say Nigeria are giant of Africa. Any country where Nigeria people go seek asylum, they don't they grant them asylum. Our case always dey difficult as a Nigerian. Because them believe say nothing they happen for Nigeria. Say Nigeria they fine. Say una government, una leader they pay una money, una do okay. They come they surprise say why Nigeria people come they run come abroad. We una country do okay. But through this social media so where people come they share video, they come they show people we there abroad. Or you people come they see and say, not be waiting they think say our country be, now our country be. So our country now actually nothing dey for our country. People they actually they suffer. So information are key, my people. If this video come across your hand, follow me, share this video again, give another person. Now so they spread the news, you go they go round. This news when I want was so now about Nnamdi Kanu now talk before. I beg, I see beg una, make una follow me, they share my video, make it for they go round. This one now Ada Universe TV they talk. I go see you again for my next video. Thank you guys and God bless. One love. Bye.
Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes, I met him yesterday for almost 3 hours at the headquarters of the DSS in Abuja. And we had quite an interaction, private interaction initially, and later on he was interviewed by 3 DSS officers in my presence. I wanted to call it an interrogation, but they said no, it's an interview, during which they asked him routine questions, but most of the questions centered on his being the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra and the activities of that organization. So he answered the questions in a relaxed atmosphere, with bearing in mind his constitutional rights not to incriminate himself. Of course, some of the questions had background information that he considered incomplete, and he told the officers that he was not able to answer some of those questions because the information that they supplied to him was incomplete.
You fit describe to us when you see Nnamdi Kanu, how he be, what's in his state of mind?
Well, his state of mind wasn't as sound as it should be. You know, if you listen to his broadcast, you would know that he's a historian. But when I was talking with him, he had trouble recalling the actual date he was abducted. It surprised me. So to jog his memory, I asked him how many nights he spent in Abuja before he was brought to court. He told me 2 nights. So he was brought to court on Tuesday, the 29th June. So we figured he must have been brought into the country on Sunday, the 27th. So when I mentioned that date, he said, sure, that's the date. But I took particular note of that. I also noticed that he had a visible injury on his right wrist. I asked him what it was. He said it was the where they had chained him, put the chain on him, and chained him to the concrete floor in Nairobi, Kenya. And he has disappearing injury on the left wrist and an injury right here at the nape of the neck. He appears like somebody who has been mentally traumatized, you know, so he's unwilling to talk about one or two things until you prompt him. Like when I prompted him about the date, that's the conclusion I drew, how many nights he spent in Abuja.
Is he afraid?
No, he's not. He's traumatized.
If you tell us more about what's happened, because you talk about, you just mentioned Kenya, and Kenyan government don't come out to talk, say, they no arrest in Kanu for Kenya. So tell us more about
yes, what
this.
Happened? What happened is this. Mazi Kanu entered Kenya, I believe, on a certain date, right around April this year. I'm not sure. I'm trying to establish the actual date of entry. But I have documentation from a Kenyan hospital that placed him in Kenya as of 14th April this year, 14th May. So he entered Kenya.
And what did they do for Kenya hospital?
He went there because he had issues with his heart. He had he felt he wasn't well. So he went there, he was examined, and the diagnosis was hypertension and heart murmur. They made prescriptions for him, and my examination of the medical report indicated medications for heart and controlling blood pressure. So apparently he entered Kenya before the 14th May this year. So he had settled in at a location in Nairobi, a temporary location, and he entered with his passport. That day, on the fateful day, that was on the, I believe on the 19th, yes, not believe, certain, 100%. He drove himself to the airport from his temporary location in Kenya. He drove to Jomo Kenyatta International and went into the garage, the underground garage, to pick up a visitor flying in from outside. Okay, that is not necessary for this discussion, the identity or whatever. So the moment he got into the parking lot, the garage, a group of several men well armed to the teeth.
And this now waiting Nnamdi Kanu tell you about what you remember of waiting happened before they bring him to Nigeria.
This is what he told me, and his recollection of this was very, very lucid and clear.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so now they swooped on him. They gathered and grabbed him, okay, in a very physical, rough way, and he raised the lamb. Luckily for him, there were a few people that were there, and the people wanted to intervene in terms of really very aggressive intervention, because to them, I asked him why they would consider making an aggressive intervention when something that seemed law enforcement was happening. He said perhaps they didn't believe it was normal. So the people that were abducting him told everybody to stay clear, that this person you're looking at is a Nigerian terrorist who assists the Al-Shabaab terrorists in Kenya. They grabbed him, put him in their car, and left, and took him to a private residence, not an official detention facility, where they chained him to the floor for most of the 8 days he spent there, and they really tortured him, thinking he was Al-Shabaab. So he kept telling them he wasn't Al-Shabaab. He had nothing to do with Al-Shabaab. He kept telling them who he was.
Who be these people?
Well, I asked him who they are. He told me they are Kenyan security officials. I asked him why. He said the insignia, the carriage, that he had arrived Kenya, so he had a bit knowledge of the terrain and how the law enforcement functions and the sort of things they wear, how, you know, that they were brazen with weapons openly. It couldn't have been private parties or, you know, some rogue agents doing that. He told me that the thing has a 100% degree of officialdom to it. So they took him to that location, and they were torturing him, and I'm sorry to say they really beat him a lot. So, but at some point when he was trying to explain himself, he told me he was blindfolded most of the time, chained to the floor, bare floor.
But the Kenyan government don't clearly talk, say they don't get hand for this, and they not arrest Nnamdi Kanu for the ground. And also, the federal government never come out to talk anything about where your client, where they arrest your client from.
Okay. You see, it's not going to be a question of he said, she said. I'm a lawyer. I operate on the basis of independent and credible evidence. The Kenyan High Commissioner might have sounded credible to the general public, but the information available to me can impeach every single word she uttered, including the denial that came from the home government. I have immigration stamp placing Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya just 2 months before his abduction. I have medical evidence placing him at a Kenyan hospital. Okay? And I have his own word. He's a man of sound mind.
And waiting your client, Nnamdi Kanu, tell you about how they move him from Kenya, as you talk, say he tell you, to Nigeria.
Yes. You see, he said on the fateful day, that was the 27th on Sunday, 27 June, they drove him in a car to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, blindfolded him, and bundled him inside a private jet, like a Learjet. I asked him if it's a Boeing 777, so whatever, or Airbus, the big ships. He said no, it's a normal private jet that you often would see some people owning private jet, that kind of size. And he was the lone passenger in that jet, in that plane, and he didn't clear immigration. They drove him straight, on the tarmac, straight to the plane and very close to the plane, and put him inside the plane with Nigerian security officials, and left about 12 noon in the afternoon, and landed Nigeria same day in the evening, around something after 4 or to 5.
Make we talk about the trial we go begin again on the 26th of July. Yes. How prepared Unadi for that trial?
Well, we are, but there's not going to be any trial. There's going to be trial within trial. What happened to Nnamdi Kanu is, by legal definition, worldwide legal definition, what is called extraordinary rendition. It's a state crime. It's a crime by the state. If a private individual abducts or violently and illegally seizes another individual, it's called kidnapping, and it's a very
to Nigeria.
Yes. You see, he said on the fateful day, that was the 27th on Sunday, 27 June, they drove him in a car to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, blindfolded him, and bundled him inside a private jet, like a Learjet. I asked him if it's a Boeing 777, so whatever, or Airbus, the big ships. He said no, it's a normal private jet that you often would see some people owning private jet, that kind of size. And he was the lone passenger in that jet, in that plane, and he didn't clear immigration. They drove him straight, on the tarmac, straight to the plane and very close to the plane, and put him inside the plane with Nigerian security officials, and left about 12 noon in the afternoon, and landed Nigeria same day in the evening, around something after 4 or to 5.
Make we talk about the trial we go begin again on the 26th of July. Yes. How prepared Unadi for that trial?
Well, we are, but there's not going to be any trial. There's going to be trial within trial. What happened to Nnamdi Kanu is, by legal definition, worldwide legal definition, what is called extraordinary rendition. It's a state crime. It's a crime by the state. If a private individual abducts or violently and illegally seizes another individual, it's called kidnapping, and is a very, in some jurisdictions, is a capital offense. When state does it, it's called extraordinary rendition. That's what happened. So if you rendered or you renditioned a fugitive or a suspect, you have lost jurisdiction to try that suspect, because you committed an international crime. You broke your own laws. You broke the laws of the third state from which territory you renditioned that individual. And you broke the laws of the second state of nationality of that individual. That is what is playing out here, because we have 3 divergent but also compliant jurisdictions. The 3 jurisdictions here, Nigeria, Kenya, and UK, their laws prohibit extraordinary rendition.
Okay, so they've been calls don't come from different quarters, from different groups, say the federal government must handle this case on a fair note, that the trial must happen, Nnamdi Kanu trial must happen on a fair note. Does this make you optimistic?
Fair trial?
That Nnamdi Kanu must have a fair trial?
You see, there is it's an oxymoron. It's a contradiction to say that a jurisdiction that broke the laws of 3 countries and the international law, that's the 4th component, to bring a suspect before that jurisdiction should be expected to give fair trial to such individual. But like lost jurisdiction to try that suspect because he committed an international crime. You broke your own laws. You broke the laws of the 3rd state from which territory you renditioned that individual. And you broke the laws of the 2nd state of nationality of that individual. That is what is playing out here. Because we have 3 divergent but also compliant jurisdictions. The 3 jurisdictions here, Nigeria, Kenya, and UK, their laws prohibit extraordinary rendition.
Okay, so they've been calls don't come from different quarters, from different groups, say the federal government must handle this case on a fair note, that the trial must happen, Nnamdi Kanu trial must happen on a fair note. Does this make you optimistic?
Fair trial?
That Nnamdi Kanu must have a fair trial?
You see, there is it's an oxymoron. It's a contradiction to say that a jurisdiction that broke the laws of 3 countries and the international law, that's the 4th component, to bring a suspect before that jurisdiction should be expected to give fair trial to such individual. But like I said, we haven't even gotten to that bridge yet. When we get to the bridge of whether he's going to get fair trial or not, we are going to ventilate it. The bridge we have to cross first is the bridge of testing the impact of the jurisdiction of Nigeria to try Nnamdi Kanu for the 14th May this year. So he had settled in at a location in Nairobi, a temporary location, and he entered with his passport. That day, on the fateful day, that was on the, I believe on the 19th, yes, not believe, Saturday.
Good evening and good night, great Biafrans and lovers of freedom. This is Radio Biafra House of Service coming to you through Radio Biafra London. My name remains Jonathan Chinedu from our low province of Biafra land. We are here live and direct. Today is the 16th day of July in the year of our Lord 2021. Without wasting much time, we are going direct to the head of the Directorate of States, Maazi Chika Edoziem, to give us the briefing. Maazi, you are welcome. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Master Jonathan, and good evening from here. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good night to all of you great Biafrans all over the world, depending on your time zone. My name is Maazi Chika Edoziem. I come from Ihe Oma. Ihe Oma is in Olu province of Biafra land. And by the grace of Elohim, the mighty and merciful Chukwuka Biama, I serve the indigenous people of Biafra in the Directorate of State as the head of Directorate. Biafrans, I bring you message of goodwill from the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Maazi Nnamdi Kanu. Despite or irrespective of his condition, irrespective of the tortures that he has been put through, and continue to be put through. Our leaders' main thought is about the family of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB worldwide. He has all of you in his prayers, that you all may remain resolute, that you all may remain focused, disciplined, and unwavering in our march to freedom and in our struggle to restore and reclaim not only our heritage, but the honor of our people. I will therefore ask all of you to, as well as Oyindu has you in his prayers, we as well must have him in our daily prayers. I am quite aware, very much aware of the expectations of our people as it concerns our struggle for freedom. I am also aware of their expectations on the leadership of the indigenous people of Biafra worldwide. I wish to state that the Directorate of State of the indigenous people of Biafra is working assiduously and in consonance in tune, in agreement with IPOB's fundamental principles, policies, and objectives. This Directorate of State, which our leader Mazen Kanu put together, we shall not deviate one bit from any of these fundamental principles and policies and objectives, because they are the soul of our movement and of our struggle. It is therefore in this regard that I will be holding a meeting with IPOB USA principal servants on the 25th of July 2021. I repeat, I will be holding a very important meeting with myself and of course some members of the Directorate, with the IPOB USA principal servants, and those who will be invited to that meeting will of course be properly informed. The continental rep for North America will be instructed on the details for this very meeting. And while I am on USA, it is very, very saddening that we seem to ignore the precarious situation which this family is presently in. It seems that we probably did not quite comprehend that this moment is a moment in which we must put all our energy together and use that energy to pursue, in which we must put all our energy together and use that energy to pursue the, in which we must put all our energy together and use that energy to pursue the, in which we must put all our energy together and use that energy to pursue the anyone to get us distracted. Every effort is being made and must continue to be made, because the single most important thing that we have to do, that this great family need to do, is to ensure that we focus on making sure that the health of the leader of this great movement, Onye Kanu, is not in any way jeopardized while he remains in the custody of the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. And we cannot, by our own selves, we must not, by our own selves, contribute to a situation that will, even if in a very little way, complicate his very serious health situation. This very movement must all join hands together to ensure that our leader is a free man at the shortest possible time from this day forward. Our lawyers are doing excellently well, and our diplomatic engagement is also running smoothly. Our civil disobedience is being heard all over the world. Therefore, every person who sees himself in a position of service to the Biafran people, you must disregard anything, whatever that may be, that will dissipate our energies and strength from focusing on what is very, very essential today for us as IPOB family members. Our leader is in the hands of the enemy. Many of you, or some of you, who have been coming online and writing things, or even having their programs, live programs, you may have some genuine complaint. You may have a very cogent reason why you feel that something has gone wrong somewhere. Yes, you may have it. But I want to tell you that this very moment is not the appropriate time to deal on some of these matters, because the directorate will not, for any reason, abandon our work to get our leader out of the hands of the wicked, out of the hands of the enemy. We cannot abandon our responsibility to ensure that his health is not in any manner jeopardized while dealing with some of these issues that are being raised on social media or that are being sent around to family members. I therefore appeal to those of you in USA, please do not aggravate the situation of our leader while he remains in the hands of the enemy. I will make this appeal this last once. And I believe we all understand what is confronting us. And we all must put our hands together to ensure that Oyendu is with us the soonest. The indigenous people of Biafra, we are a race under severe threat of extinction. We all know this. Many of us have witnessed it. Many have experienced it personally. The Nigerian government is very actively eliminating Biafran youth faster than any disease or natural cause can. And when we see these things, we still do not understand that we must pull in one direction. We must unify our front. We must not allow the enemy to come into us or in our midst and cause havoc. Because from north to south, east to west, our youths are being massacred. They are being not just tortured, they are being given the most inhuman treatment one can imagine. Of course, when our leader is out, we will hear the true fact and the true events from him. Be aware that most of these clandestine and covert killings, they happen, and many of them, majority of them, are not heard about. When our killers get emboldened by the actions or lack of it that is coming from those who self-acclaimed themselves to be political leaders from Biafra land, elders, religious leaders, when our killers observe that these people, they cannot do anything, they cannot say anything, these killers lose every sense of pretense and commit these murders then in the open. Ladipo market is not an isolation. Ladipo market, where I'm not quite sure how many, but a number of Biafrans were killed. For what reason? It happened in Enugu just this past month. Cold-blooded murder of Biafran people. And you have leaders. You have leaders, they have gone quiet. They can see nothing, they can say nothing. The only person who spoke, continued to speak, and will continue to speak and defend the rights of Biafran people is at this moment in the hands of the enemy. And some of us are dissipating their strength and their energy in writing and diverting our attention. Please advise yourself very properly. Advise yourself very properly so that we can focus on what needs to be done. Your leaders, so-called, they have become blind, deaf, and dumb all at the same time, because they have conveniently decided to see nothing. They have decided to hear nothing. They have decided to say nothing while their supposed people, the constituencies from where they took off to become political leaders, or the constituencies where they rule or lead as traditional rulers or PGs, are going through unimaginable and barbaric, inhuman torture. They cannot help any of you. They have no desire. They have no intention. They do not have the balls to help us, Biafran people. Therefore, the only person who can help us is our leader, and we must do everything within human and spiritual power to ensure that he rejoins this family sooner than later. Now, to the ongoing efforts by the zoo government to compromise, this is what they know. Corruption is the second name of the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. They are going about compromising people in Biafra land. They are going about calling our elders to nocturnal meetings. They are going about inviting our market leaders to clandestine meetings to bribe them, to throw some change to them. And you have to ask yourself where the change is coming from, where these monies are coming from. These are funds, money that was taken from your land, and you are being compromised by just giving you a little bit of what belongs to you. Those of you that has been approached by the agents of the Nigerian government, you know yourselves. You know yourselves. You are therefore advised to retrace your steps, because the spirit of our departed heroes and the land of Biafra shall visit you. It's a promise I'm making, and I'm saying it here live on Radio Biafra worldwide, that if the politicians in Biafra land, the elders in Biafra land, the PGs in Biafra land, if you do not retrace your steps now that you have the time, the spirit of our departed heroes and the land of Biafra shall visit not only you, but your family and your generation with a terrible vengeance. And again, to the Nigerian government and the Kenyan government, including individuals directly involved in the betrayal and extraordinary rendition of our leader, I give you hereby notice that you shall surely pay a huge price for that crime at our own time and at the place of our own choosing. The price must and will be paid. It does not matter how long it takes, but this crime must be properly situated, and I'll leave it at that. Let me remind and let me encourage us again to continue our reading of the Psalms, because Elohim will surely deliver our leader and the Biafran people from the snares of the wicked and the evil ones, those within and amongst us and those without. Your wicked and evil plans shall come to nothing. Biafrans, I want to borrow from the words of one of our sisters who just wrote that Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is our leader. There is no discussion, and Biafra is our destination. Remain disciplined in your area of duty, in your area of responsibility. Principal officers, if you are not a coordinator, if you are not an administrative officer, do not meddle into affairs of coordination or administration. If you are not a coordinator, do not meddle into the issues of coordination. There are those whose responsibility it is to deal with it. If there are issues, if there are ideas you have, suggestions you wish to make, please follow the proper channel and pass your idea or your suggestions across, and it will be taken care of. Let me end this very evening broadcast by saying that Biafra is our homeland. Biafra is our identity, and Biafra is our religion. And Chukwu Okike, the all-merciful Elohim, to whom alone worship belongs, is whom we worship. I thank you all, great Biafrans, wherever you are tonight, and I encourage you to remain steadfast. I encourage you to remain focused. Above all, I encourage you to remain disciplined, for without discipline, we cannot win this war which has been brought upon us. But I trust what our leader has put in place. I trust what he has imbibed in us, and I know that we will not disappoint him. Very key. We must not disappoint Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of this great movement. Therefore, I commend him and commit him into the hands of merciful Chukwu Okike, that he may continue to empower him and fill him with his spirit, with understanding, with wisdom, to lead us into a free, independent, and sovereign Biafra nation. May Chukwu Abiyama guide all of you, and may Chukwu Abiyama be with all of you. From me, from here, I wish to say good night to you, and thank you so much for listening.
Government are guilty of organizing such things and blaming it on IPOB and ESN. Effort has been made by elders of our people to find out the truth. And the hands of IPOB and ESN are not there. I'm sure you know that at Owerri prison, there was a lot of devastation, and the IG of police blamed it immediately on IPOB and ESN. Even the governor of that state, Imo State, at the beginning thought it was IPOB and ESN. But now we know that more than 80% of the people caught by the camera, what do you call that? I am not
That's
from
CCTV footage.
I am not from the southeast or even the east at all. Now, Gulag is dead. Was it a desire again to blame it on IPOB and ESN? First of all, my heart goes to the family. But we are learning more now. That's a design to provoke the East.
What do you think the motive for that would be? Because when you say that you suspect that there are elements within the federal government who may be fomenting this trouble in the southeast, what do you think the motives could be?
I don't know whether they are particularly in government, but from what we are reading and from the research we are making and getting results, many people, I'm happy to let me tell you, yes, I read the president's statement. There are many positives there. Number one, he says, in spite of effort to run down the INEC, there will still be elections. Two, that he has no ambition to stay beyond his term of office and go for third term. So, that's very good. But he may not know all that is going on. A president takes responsibility for what is happening. But it is taking what is told. And I heard the Minister for Information categorically blaming IPOB and ESN. How did he know? These are dangerous elements in government.
So exactly why are you absolving ESN and IPOB of these attacks? Because a lot of people, including of course the IG and the president himself, based on his statement, they believe that this is the signature of IPOB and it's a military arm, that's the militant arm. The
and
ESN.
the fact also, let me just add to that, they call people not to go out